In this video, we are going to attempt to survive Minecraft for 100 days on one block. We have one goal in mind, and one only: to defeat the mighty Ender Dragon. For the first part of our journey, we had to break the first block. It took us a minute, but after a while of thinking, we attempted to jump and break that block. And that was the start of our journey. After a few breaks and a bit of building, Paul arrived. Paul was our first inhabitant on our majestic and beautiful island to be. We had finally built our animal pasture, so it was time to bring Paul in. We had no idea what the randomizer would bring us next, so it was better to keep him nice and safe. Soon after Paul came, many of his other friends decided to show up as well. This cow got a little bit crazy. He figured out how to jump over the fence, so we had to wrangle him all the way back in. Then soon came Kevin. Kevin was a fluffy sheep. He was a little derpy, but we liked him a lot. Then came the chickens. This really did prove that the chicken did come first. We had a little bit of a tricky time with this chicken. For whatever reason, he did not want to come in. I tried my best to convince him with the seed that I had. And my brother, well, he tried the classic push. As you can see here, we almost had him, but he didn't want to come in. I think we finally caught his attention. And there he goes. He jumps right in. After a little bit more work, we were finally able to finish our new pasture for all of our friends to gather. And this was just in time too, because we got our first shroom cow. He'll make for some great stew. Then, something unexpected happened. Kevin, he got out, and we had to act fast. Kevin had dreams of flying. We could see it in his eyes. He adored the birds that would pass by. We didn't want to break his heart, so we had to push him back in, safely, without pushing him off. I decided it was probably a great idea to put my items away, just in case. Slowly, we moved closer and closer. And we got him! Kevin was finally safe from all this danger in this world. But that was only half true. It was the first zombie that came that night. But little did we know, there was many more to come. One zombie down, a creeper landed, attempting to blow up all of our items and all that we've achieved. Luckily, we were able to dodge it and only lose a floor. That was a close call. Slowly but surely, we were able to defend off as many as we could. We were lucky being able to block off our animals and keep them safe. The end was near. All that was left was these two enemies. One down, and we finally made it through the night. After that long day, there was only one thing on my brother's mind. After finally reaching some snow blocks, I decided to have a little bit of fun. Why not get some snowballs and have a classic snowball fight? Sadly, I had disabled PvP, but it still was enough to annoy my brother, so I was having just as much fun. Finally, we found another good friend, a friendly wolf. Now, I had the bright idea of letting him in with the other animals. Sadly, that didn't end very well. This wolf had other intentions. I had froze up, and I was a little too late. The damage was already done. We had lost Kevin and many others. I looked around, counting the casualties. It was too many. We will miss you, Kevin. After the loss of many, we decided now was the time to build some traps. We didn't have armor. We barely had swords. But you know what we did have? Brains. We were going to outsmart our enemies in order to protect our island. Our trap was complete, so now is our time to test. Will it work? We will see. We released the enemies. We ran back a little bit. And to our surprise, they shot each other. It sure made our job a lot easier. I was having a little bit of trouble here, but I backed up and thought a little bit and decided to try again. And I was finally able to get him into the trap. It worked like a charm. Sadly, there was one enemy we were not aware of, and that was this fox. He snuck in, just like any other fox would. There were many casualties after this. Our chickens were nearly gone. We were finally able to kill it. Sadly, there was another, but we thought we'd outsmart it and use our trap. It couldn't get in. Unless that fox had outsmarted us and drank a little too much G Fuel that day. He was able to finesse us. As a result, we decided it was time to build our chest room where all of our loot will be held. And there we are. Our chest room is finally complete. And that is going to wrap up this episode of our 1 block challenge. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode and more videos to come.